and welcome to this re-recording of the September 2014 Autumn Equinox webcast and energy gathering meditation. This is the second time that this has been recorded because yesterday on the 21st of September, which was our live meeting, for some reason the software online just would not record this process. And one of our listeners actually tried to record using two separate devices when she realized that we were having a technical problem, and even her devices wouldn't record. So for whatever reason, it just wasn't meant to be cast in stone yesterday. So today is the 22nd of September. We are still within the equinox window, and I am re-recording this. Obviously with nobody to talk to, so it feels rather strange for me to be recording without the usual interaction that I have with individuals who've joined us live. We had a most amazing live session yesterday, so I know that the energies are there and available to us in terms of continuing this process, if you like, for all of you diamond souls through and within this equinox window and then beyond. So I hope you're going to enjoy this short presentation and then enjoy the meditation and energy process that's been created for you, especially for this occasion. So one of the things that I did mention yesterday was that I entitled this originally Bringing Peace to the Shadow. And in hindsight, when I started putting material together, what I realized is that this could very easily have been renamed Bringing Truth to the Shadow or Bringing Love to the Shadow. Because peace as such is an element that is realized, or an aspect that is realized as a consequence of, as being in the expanded divine truths of our grandest, highest self. It is also an aspect or element that we realize when we are completely centered within the core of divine love. So yeah, it could very easily have been called Bringing Truth to the Shadow or Bringing Love to the Shadow. And the autumn equinox now, because of the designation of International Peace Day, will always fall on International Peace Day. So there are loads of peace initiatives around the world that are going on at this moment in time, where people are intending and praying for and really putting all of their energy into the realization of peace made manifest in this third dimension. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, because I'd like you to perhaps take a few moments as we go into this presentation to really think about what peace means for you. And I've got a few thoughts on it that I want to share with you shortly. The wonderful quote from Lao Tzu, which I did use in last year's September equinox as well, and it is as relevant now as it is on every single day of the year. But it does provide us with a focus, if you like, for the work that we are doing, and that's the realization that if there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. And therein is where we come to in respect of peace being a manifestation and an aspect of higher divine brought into our physical hearts, into our physical lives, made manifest through our lives, through our actions, our words, and our deeds. And therein is the way of peace. So it's through the heart, and it actually has to be. So one of the things that I think is really significant, or perhaps bears thinking about, is this concept of peace, truth, love, and freedom. And freedom was a concept that kept on coming up for me as I was actually putting some of these thoughts together in respect of the process. Because in most cases, what we mean when we say that we want peace is we really mean that what we are looking for is freedom from something that disturbs our ability to connect with that peaceful core within. So peace means freedom from something. In most cases, freedom from pain, freedom from illness, freedom from emotional manipulation, freedom from constrictive relationships, freedom from limitations, whatever it may be, all of those things disturb our ability to be able to connect with the peace that we ultimately are. So what I actually pulled out, and I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment, and I'm going to read it for you, is an extract of timeless wisdom from that wonderful Khalil Gibran and his seminal work, The Prophet. And he's got a whole section on freedom. So I'd like you to just close your eyes where you're sitting right now and to just listen to what he has to say about freedom. And an orator said, "Speak to us of freedom." And he answered, "At the city gate and by your fireside, I have seen you prostrate yourself and worship your own freedom, even as slaves humble themselves before a tyrant and praise him, though he slays them. I, in the grove of the temple and in the shadow of the citadel, I have seen the freest among you wear their freedom as a yoke and a handcuff. And my heart bled within me, for you can only be free when even the desire of seeking freedom becomes a harness to you, and when you cease to speak of freedom as a goal and a fulfillment. You shall be free indeed when your days are not without a care, nor your nights without a want and a grief, but rather when these things girdle your life, and yet you rise above them naked and unbound. But how shall you rise above your days and nights unless you break the chains which you at the dawn of your understanding have fastened around your noon hour? In truth, that which you call freedom is the strongest of these chains, though its links glitter in the sun and dazzle the eyes. And what is it but fragments of your own self you would discard that you may become free? If it is an unjust law you would abolish, that law was written with your own hand upon your own forehead. You cannot erase it by burning your law books, nor by washing the foreheads of your judges, though you pour the sea upon them. And if it is a despot that you would dethrone, see first that his throne erected within you is destroyed. For how can a tyrant rule the free and the proud, but for a tyranny in their own freedom and a shame in their one pride? And if it is a care you would cast off, that care has been chosen by you rather than imposed upon you. And if it is a fear you would dispel, the seat of that fear is in your heart and not in the hand of the feared. Verily, all things move within your being in constant half embrace, the desired and the dreaded, the repugnant and the cherished, the pursued and that which you would escape. These things move within you as lights and shadows in pairs that cling. And when the shadow fades and is no more, the light that lingers becomes a shadow to another light. And thus your freedom, when it loses its fetters, becomes itself the fetter of a greater freedom. And I find that this is just really relevant in terms of us examining what peace really means for us, and how that links in with perhaps our concepts of freedom. So, when you desire peace, what is it that you are perhaps seeking freedom from? And in that seeking of freedom, is there perhaps a peace that can be found with situations as they are, sitting in the duality? of these opposites that Khalil Gibran speaks about, sitting in that tension of the polarity in order to be able to rise above it. Because we cannot, in our 3D world, do away with duality. It exists and it always will. Our freedom and our peace is found in the transcendence beyond that duality while still holding that place in our physical world. So this requires a certain mastery of various qualities in order to be able to hold a peaceful core. And this brings me to the next slide, which was some of the things that I actually pulled out in respect of this. So peace, we might say, is in freedom from tyranny and manipulation. And that is tyranny within ourselves. These are aspects that sit within our own shadow. We have a look at what's going on in the external environment, and all that is being made manifest as the so-called opposite, polar opposite of the peace that we desire is simply an expression of what lies within the shadow, and that which requires acknowledgement and healing within every single one of us. It is simply a lack of awareness of consciousness. Peace is in truth. For when we are in truth, we can be at peace no matter what the circumstances are that we find ourselves in. Peace is in courage. In fact, courage could be deemed to be one of the polar opposites of so-called peace because it is the courage to act when it is necessary. It is part of this manifest, unmanifest tension that exists between these polar opposites that as spiritual beings we are required to master. Peace is in our awareness of our choices, because when we have conscious awareness of the choices that we make, we cannot be angry with the outcomes or consequences of those choices because they were made with awareness. I think our lesson is for that awareness to be guided solely by the truth of our grandest overself, which is where the process is going to take us today. Peace is in our ability to restore equilibrium. Equilibrium, and it's also in our ability to achieve mastery over these polar qualities. Peace emanates from the heart, and peace ultimately is love, and it is in love. For everything that is made manifest in this world has its polar opposite in the unmanifest realm. So what that means is that when we look out onto the world stage and we're seeing a lack of peace, it doesn't mean that peace doesn't exist. It simply means that the conscious connection has not been made with the unmanifest realm where peace is just waiting to be brought down and manifest. But first we have to master the qualities that we are being presented with in this earthly realm. I hope this is making sense for you. One of the pieces of information that I pulled out uh, from Elizabeth H, because I was doing a little bit of rereading of her book, Initiation, this past week, and it was really quite profound for me, is that she talks about the spiritual teaching that she received as an initiate in the temples of Egypt. And this is that paired opposites actually create a natural, divine, creative tension. And herein we continue this theme of tension that I spoke about in the most recent newsletter, this creative tension, this tension that exists between what it is we say that we want and what it is that we are experiencing. It is a natural, divine, creative tension. So when we seek to create something, we hold the space between what is and what is unmanifest. And in these paired opposites that are mentioned in the initiation book, there are actually 12 pairs that she is given. You know, and they include things like keeping silent versus talking, for instance. You know, and it's being able to master those two qualities so that they can be used with higher conscious awareness as and when necessary and under the guidance of the higher self. And it's absolutely necessary to master both sides of the equation. So in this case, I've chosen the paired opposites, which she has listed in there, of peace and the courage to fight. Now, I've listed peace as manifest and courage to fight as unmanifest. It could obviously be the other way around, vice versa. But both of those qualities themselves are neither good nor bad, except when they are applied within a specific context. And if they are mastered and used appropriately, under the guidance of your highest self, then that divine creative tension is held in equilibrium, that we can choose which quality or aspect of those paired opposites to utilize given any particular set of circumstances. Because there are cases when to sit in peace and to not stand up when there is a wrongdoing that we can see being perpetrated is actually, for want of a better description, it is sinful. One could actually call it evil because it is the opposite of divine. So peace itself doesn't always necessarily mean that it is a divine quality. We say that's what we want. But it's knowing when and how peace is appropriate and when and how the courage to fight becomes meaningful and appropriate. And this kind of bridges into Andrew Harvey's beautiful work, The Hope, where he speaks a lot about sacred activism, because sacred activism is engaging and mastering the quality of the courage to fight as and when it is appropriate. So what we see happening on the world stage at the moment, where we see wars and a heck of a lot of fighting going on, is simply the unmanifest peace. So it is the courage to fight that the individuals concerned actually need to master, because it is being blinded by the qualities of the personality as opposed to the qualities of the higher self, or for want of a better description, the soul. When we color all of those qualities with the energies of the soul, we will experience the peace and the freedom that we actually say we want. But we will be standing firm within the natural tension that allows our truth to color every single opportunity that we have to master these dualities within our physical realm. To do that means expanding and continuing to expand our consciousness. So I hope that makes sense for you. The other thing I just wanted to mention, I did mention it yesterday, is that this idea of tension is really quite interesting, because one of our listeners, Ali, actually sent me an email after the newsletter went out, and she said this concept of tension always reminds her of bridges, because bridges, when they are built, and this is an absolute fact, bridges cannot exist without the correct tension applied in the appropriate way so that the bridge becomes solid. And one can actually move from one side of a chasm to the other across this bridge that is held in place by tension. Okay, it's the laws of physics in our 3D realm, and so it is with our spiritual world as well. One of the things is so interesting, because sort of bringing those concepts into play, and I hadn't made the connection previously, but I have often spoken about the diamond as being the bridge into our new reality, into alternate, expanded realms of reality and of being and of beingness. So essentially, what we are doing is we are building bridges into higher consciousness, into higher awareness, and it is through this work and through bringing the light of truth into our own shadow and expressing mastery over everything that we find there, that we will enable the manifestation of peace, if you like, in our external environment. And the truth is, it does actually begin with us. So that's where the journey today is actually going to take us, into expanded versions of reality, and I'm going to work with something very different. On the first slide, you would have seen this particular image. And this image is in fact the peace light code. Again, we are going to use this in the process. So it's easy enough for you to memorize and to take note of. So when I ask you to bring it in and to be within it, you will be able to connect with it. You can see that there are spirals of beautiful light energy within this octahedral peace diamond, if you like. Now, the other thing that we're going to work with is we're going to work with an expansion of consciousness through three interlocking diamonds. And there is huge significance in this particular image. We're going to work from the diamond that we have always worked with, which basically surrounds and interpenetrates our physical body. So that is the initial part of the bridge. We are then going to move into a higher diamond. Think about the jewel in the heart, which is two interlocking diamonds. um, because the second diamond gives us access to our Christed consciousness over self. And in the third diamond, where we move up, we actually enter the realm of our highest over self, that essence or aspect of ourselves that orchestrates everything in our lives. And I mean, sort of this lifetime, between lifetimes. And it has access. Our grand over self has access to a way bigger picture than what we do, and it means that everything in our lives is actually by design, and it's by design of our highest over self. So it may seem a bit hierarchical. As part of the process, it is more a very expansive process. And I have to say before we start, let me just sort of finish this off, is that it's only through, if you like, this highest aspect of ourselves, this grand over self conglomerate that is at this level, that we really begin to access the flame of divine truth. Okay, so everything that is done within this level is actually done in conjunction with the flame of truth. So we're going to work with this flame of truth in the process too. This triple diamond is interesting. I must say that yesterday, when we actually did this process, it really knocked a couple of people for six. Very powerful. I'm sort of sure that it's going to be just as powerful in the recording. And the more people that use it, the more powerful it gets. Also, this concept of the triple diamonds is something that is coming through and becoming more evident for many more people. One of our listeners yesterday actually mentioned that she has become aware of these diamonds from another level, sort of this third level, almost squeezing themselves down. So it is that our consciousness is expanding to such an extent that we can actually begin to access the energies of our highest over self. So we are being supported in this process. And certainly this is what the equinox brings us. So it takes us to a greater level of balance, harmony, and wholeness. So I really do hope that all of this makes sense for you. Um, and I'm just going to pause the recording briefly. So if you would like to get yourselves comfortable and prepare for the process that I'm going to guide you through now. Okay, so if you are comfortable and ready, what I would like you to do is to, as always, close your eyes. Allow your body to rest onto the surface on which you are sitting or lying. And as you take a long, slow, deep breath in, you allow your body to relax and become heavy against the surface. And you breathe out all stress and tension. And you take a deep breath in again. And as you breathe out, your shoulders relax. Your mind begins to calm. Your thighs and your body become gentle and softer. And once more, deep breath in. And as you breathe out, allow any thoughts that are playing across the surface of your mind to simply be released with your breath. And your mind quietens. And as always, in this space, invoke your diamond. Give the intention for your diamond grid to form around you, firmly anchored at the base of your spine, connected with your earth star and your soul star. And allow your body to rest into this space as your sense of beingness, your experience of beingness is enhanced through this form. And as you breathe, your diamond begins to breathe with you. And in front of you now, you see a three-dimensional peace light code. And as you watch, it grows and expands until it is bigger than your diamond itself. And you see it shimmering, structured of the most amazing light. And as it turns in front of you, it shimmers with shades of lilac, pale violet, flashed through with spirals of clear light. And in your own diamond light grid, you step into this peace code and you allow it to surround you. And those threads of light, as you continue breathing deeply, with your own rhythm and in your own time, those threads of violet and silvery light are breathed in through the fibers of your diamond light grid into your beingness. And they bring calm and an experience of peace within your physical form. For in the stillness, you can find and access the peace and the truth of your core, of who you are. And in your mind's eye now, create an environment for yourself that represents a nourishing, nurturing place, somewhere out in nature, wherever it might be, whether it's a mountain, a lake, a river, a stream, a meadow, a forest, a beach. Whatever for you represents a natural environment that stirs and nourishes your soul. Visualize, create it, and then extend your consciousness to take you into that environment. Allow your senses to heighten so that you can see and hear, smell and touch, all in this environment. And all of these inspiring places in nature are flooded with negative ions that feed and uplift both our energy system and our physical bodies. So allow your beingness to absorb these negative ions in this environment that you have created. And feel yourself being revitalized and uplifted. Strengthened and prepared. And anything that is brought in through your diamond into your body is adjusted by the power of the pyramidal forces created by your diamond. So as you breathe in this space, you notice and become aware that the air feels clearer as it passes over your nostril hairs, into your lungs, into your body. Breathe it in through your nose and notice the clarity and the purity of the oxygen in that air. It's like your diamond acts as a filter, and with that increased oxygen, you again revitalize and strengthen your physical body. So you are clear and calm and relaxed, and yet energized and uplifted at the same time. There is a natural tension that exists in you holding these polarities. Just notice that within yourself. This inner feeling of calm and yet the energy and the readiness to move into action should it be required. A clarity of mind in order to hear and see and sense the voice of your highest self, the messages of your highest overself. the truth of your divine essence. Take your attention now up to the soul star energy center above your head. That golden glowing ball of light. And you see that emanating from it is a golden thread, making its way down the center of your diamond, all the way down along your spine, down the core, until it anchors below your feet into the Earth Star Energy Center. And just become aware of this golden thread as it draws tight along your core so that you feel a natural tension within that thread, almost like the string of a harp. The tighter it is pulled, the higher the frequency of the note that sings from it. Allow your consciousness now to travel up along this thread, up to your soul star energy center. You are well anchored within your Earth star, so you remain anchored in the 3D world, in your body. But your consciousness has the freedom to travel. And as you move up this thread, you move through this glowing ball of light, your soul star energy center, and you allow your consciousness to be infused with this golden light. And then you move beyond it into a second overlocking diamond that sits above this point. It overlaps the soul star so that you emerge with your consciousness into this diamond, the second diamond, and that golden thread begins to make its way upwards through this second diamond. And there is a sense of being able to breathe more freely within this space. As you move your awareness more fully into this diamond, which is your Christed consciousness level of being. Explore this space then, and notice how the tension in the golden thread that now runs through two diamonds has become even tighter, that the frequency of the note that it sings is higher and finer, for you are connected with the higher frequency aspects of self through this Christed consciousness diamond. And as you look out and explore beyond this level of diamond, you see that you are connected to a grid of diamonds, a Christ consciousness grid. that is alight and alive with lights, with colors, with music. As you explore and examine this aspect of the grid, you will notice that in some places there are others like you who have the ability to connect this level of consciousness with their lower physical form, and you see that as golden threads extending down into the planet through these individuals. But there are areas where this beautiful, incredible light grid seems to connect only with darkness beneath it. And this is where the individuals themselves have become mired in the physical world of their personality. So this grid exists. What simply is required is for accessibility to it to be achieved through expansion of consciousness, awareness. And you will notice that there are some parts of the grid also where there is what appears to be just a fine, very, very fine trickle of light down into the 3D world, where people are not even or hardly aware that this light is touching them, or it touches them and they ignore it. We're going to work on strengthening this. For now, just explore and examine this environment. You may also notice that there are threads extending from this grid down into the animal kingdoms, where special creatures of high sentience are anchoring in the Christ consciousness energies of love, truth, trust, awareness, acceptance, peace. Just take a look around the planet at where this grid is literally being anchored in. And take a look as well at the levels of connection with higher light beings and those who have achieved full conscious awareness of their Christ consciousness self, that are no longer in physical embodiment, but that remain in the energetic realms to support and hold the energy and essence of this level of the grids. But there are those, you may wish to call them masters of one form or another, whose energy feeds and keeps alive this level of consciousness grid, so that we as humanity, all who are ready, have the opportunity to access this. Allow your soul self, your consciousness self, to just be nourished in this environment, in the beauty and in the love. And then with a deep breath in, you allow your consciousness to travel up this golden cord to the top, where you find what has largely been unseen because it's in the palest of colors and energies. It's almost bordering on being formless, but you become aware of this third diamond that overlocks and interpenetrates where you are at. And the equivalent soul star of this second diamond is a brilliant pearlescent white, and the golden thread moves up through it and becomes a white, golden white color as it threads up this third diamond, enabling you to move your consciousness along with it. And you journey up through the opening into the diamond that represents and houses the highest aspects of your grand overself, the architect of your being, the architect of your life and lives. Take a few moments to allow your frequencies to adjust to this space. And then as you adjust, action outwards and beyond, for you will see that through this diamond you can connect with the infinite realms of the unmanifest, to be able to draw things into being and manifestation. This is a world and a realm of archetypes, of geometries, of formless forms, swirling lights, grids of untold beauty, connecting through the universe itself. The vastness is indescribable, and the love is palpable. And you see all the other highest over-self groups of individuals orchestrating lives with the sole purpose of enabling learning, of enabling growth, of enabling pathways to return from the darkness of the shadow back into the magnificence of this light. The interconnected overselves working in harmony with each other and with absolute love for the individuals manifested in physical form. So just take a few moments in this space and ask to be shown in one way or another. You may find that there is a TV screen that's put up for you. You may find just little pictures. You may find that there is a knowingness that is implanted within you. But ask to be shown the meaning and the purpose and the learnings in any difficult or challenging life circumstances that you have carried with you. First of all, in this life, from this expanded perspective can come a new level of understanding. And then ask to be shown the meaning and the purpose of challenging and difficult events in previous lives, as well as the gifts that your soul, your essence, has brought through from all of those previous learnings. For whatever you achieve the realization of in this space becomes an integral part of your knowingness, and that expands the golden thread that connects you from your lower diamond up to this level, into this level. And the knowledge flows down into the very fabric of your physical body, rippling through your nervous system and rippling through your cells. The music and the notes that are emitted by the changes in the tension of this chord sing a song into your body. They sing their wisdom into your cells. And once you have seen and realized the freedom that can be experienced through these expanded experiences of awareness, your highest overself makes manifest from within itself a small flame that represents the flame of truth and an aspect of your overself, of this awareness. It is a brilliant golden white light that you can carry in your hands, and you bring it down. Now you allow your consciousness to travel back down this golden thread as it sings all the way down. You bring that flame of truth now down into your physical body, into your lower diamond. And you have brought this expanded awareness down into this interface with the 3D world. And this flame of truth is now going to shed its light onto any life circumstances that represent an obstacle for you in respect of your experiencing of either peace or of you realizing the strength within and the courage to stand up for what is right and divinely true. So there may be certain qualities that are required given different challenges or circumstances. So now with this light of truth in the palm of your hands, shine it, be guided to let it alight on whatever stands in the way of your restoration of equilibrium. Allow yourself to see what is needed given any particular circumstance that is a challenge for you, and then see yourself acting out the appropriate behavior or speaking the appropriate words in those circumstances. Visualize it in the light of truth. What is appropriate for those circumstances in the language and the wisdom of your highest over self. And when you can see that, when you realize it, there is a ripple effect of truth that moves back into your physical body, readjusting and aligning your biology and your nervous system. So just spend a few moments now seeking out those circumstances that prevent you from the realization of peace and truth from which you require freedom. And when you have uncovered or shone the light on all that needs to be exposed at this moment in time, bring that flame of truth back. Place it in your heart. Allow it to constantly burn and light the way. Light up your diamond. Let it constantly be a trigger and a reminder for you in any given moment for the truth of the truth, of the divine truth. You will see now that the golden thread that links you from this lower diamond up to your highest over self is vibrant and singing and alive and moving rapidly with energies being exchanged between these dimensional levels and aspects. And it remains firmly anchored within your Earth star. And while you hold this tension, you allow the emanations through this golden thread to move out from your Earth star energy center into the grids of the planet, and the light is so piercing that it merely and simply burns through any perceived obstacles in its way. For nothing can ultimately stand in the way of truth, divine truth. So you become a conduit for this ultimate understanding from your highest aspect of self, for that energy flowing down all the way through you and out into the grids of the planet. And where people are ready to break through their own barriers of perception and their own connections to their Christ itself, energy and this truth provides them with the impetus to open to that truth. So just survey what is happening between the earth grids and the Christ consciousness grids as you simply stand held in this tension. You are a most amazing bridge, and you are facilitating the awakening of others. Your body is singing with the frequency and vibration of this energy running through you. Notice that some of the individuals that this light is touching as it makes its way through the grids may be infused with a warmth or a knowing that takes their journey further. And yet others may find that they are electrified with beams of light like bolts of lightning that shatter the cocoons that they have had around themselves, enabling the light to penetrate and pierce. Just notice. And for each one that this light touches that begins their awakening journey, the impact of that awakening will impact on many, many others within their circle or sphere of contact. So the exponential benefit is almost incalculable. Allow yourself to hold the tension as this bridge just for a few more minutes. With each level of purification that we as individuals undergo, we are able to hold a far greater tensile strength and respect of being this bridge, enabling the flow of greater frequencies, quantities of energy through our beings. So our own work on bringing peace and balance and restoration to the shadow is vital to the well-being of all upon the planet. Stand for a moment in the awareness and the appreciation of this as a truth. And feel the absolute love of your highest over self for all that you have been through and experienced on your journey. And now allow yourself to release that tension. You can retract that golden cord back down until it resides again within your soul star energy center. You may find that it extends part way up into your Christ consciousness diamond. But allow yourself to just ease off some of that tension. To maintain that degree of tension over an extended period of time requires a well-trained nervous system. So the likelihood of you being able to maintain this for protracted periods is negligible at this moment, but it is something that you can access and move into when you need to. It should be part of your practice. For the more you do, the stronger your nervous system, the greater the tensile strength of the bridge that you become. But for the moment, give thanks and be in total honor for your life path, for this part of your journey. As you release the tension, withdraw your energy as much as possible back into your diamond. And just be aware of the expanded experience of balance, of restoration, of greater wholeness, and of greater awareness within your own space now. And the permanent flame of truth that burns brightly in your heart. As you begin to bring your consciousness back into this 3D world, take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, become aware of your consciousness now permeating the physical cells in your body, consolidating and reintegrating. Take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you become more aware once more of the surface on which you are sitting or lying. And again, another deep breath in and out. Breathe out with a sigh as you wiggle your fingers and you wiggle your toes and you allow yourself to once more appreciate, connect with all of the flows and the curves of your physical form. Touch your hands together. Give thanks to your body for being such an amazing host for this incredible consciousness. And once more, and when you are ready, you can gently open your eyes and return to waking consciousness. You are all amazing, amazing beings. And I extend my thanks, my love, my honor and appreciation for your support and participation in this process. This is a magnificent contribution to the ever escalating expansion of awareness on our planet. May you be at peace in the truth and the love and the freedom and the wisdom of your highest self, no matter what circumstances you find yourselves in. And with that, I wish you Namaste.